everybody, welcome back to Motion RC. I'm James and we're outside at the local park and we got those two, not new in general, but new to Motion RC, the Jeep Willys 112 scale and the Kubelwagen from Rock Hobby. These things are fantastically detailed, ready to run. Scalers, almost crawlers. I wouldn't call them crawlers, to be honest. I wouldn't want to do anything that's gonna potentially scratch them and break them up because they just look absolutely fantastic. But for the purpose of this video, we'll go over all the scale detail that these offer. We'll take them for a little drive around. They're not speed demons. They are really just for guys who like to collect. If you love your World War II stuff and you got some 12 scale figures, you got something to put them in. Because again, the details in these that I'm going to show you in a second here are just out of this world, and they come out of the box just like this. So if you're taking a look now, pulling it out of the box, super simple. You're gonna get either one comes with a transmitter, you're gonna get one LiPo battery, you're gonna get a charger. They give you a little lug wrench that, you know, you can take the tires on and off if you need to. And then you get a little like screwdriver to make any little changes. But while we're here and we're out, you can, let's take a look. Let's start with the Jeep Willys. So again, you know, 1940 style Jeep. The first thing you're gonna notice when it comes out is that the window itself will actually, you know, lock into place. You pull up on it and it'll be down and then you pop it in. So like immediately cool, because obviously everybody has seen the World War II movies. Sometimes that's not even up. For whatever reason, they'll put it down, but you could bring it up, you give it a little lift, and again, it's all plastic, but it'll go in, but you got the detail of like the rear view mirror and such. On the back, if you wanted to add a canopy and such, you have the option because, again, that's there, so you can add to it. You got the cloth on the seats, which I love. It's just a real good detail. All the drives inside, and the steering wheel itself will turn when the car is on. So if you have a figure in there and you lock his, you know, with a zip tie or whatever, you lock his hands to the steering wheel, it's gonna look like, you know, he's moving around if you do it the right way. I didn't have any figures other than like a wrestling or a superhero figure. So I wasn't gonna put Superman or Hulk Hogan in there, but would've looked awkward. But either way, super cool. Again, the details with like the shovels and the axes are just awesome. The tires themselves, nice and squishy. So again, she'll definitely crawl on some things. She can get some torque because each one of these do have a low gear and a high gear, if you will. So, you know, if you're trying to climb up something, taking a look underneath, see, really nice. You do have metal on the underneath side, as well as some plastic and all. And then what I love too, very nicely, everything is compartmentalized for both models in the, you know, underneath the hood here. You got your battery, which you can plug in and leave, and then you got a switch that you turn it on, you know, from the other side, which is great. And then the lights, it has a couple different, each one of them have a couple different modes where, you know, the headlights will be high vis, low vis. They've got blinkers, so if you make a right turn, the left, you know, the right blinker will blink. The left one, when you brake, the red lights, you know, pop up, all that kind of scale detail, which is phenomenal. And then taking a look at the Kubelwagen, I love this one, and I think Alex would know. What movie does this remind us of?
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is all I see with this truck right away in my first impression. But absolutely cool. This is, you know, the German version, if you will, of the Jeep. And it's, again, it does the same thing. It's got the little hooks in the front, so you can lock down the window. And then with this one, unlike the Willys, because the Willys didn't have doors, you have 4 doors here, 2 on each side, that can open and close, you know, very simply. You pull the latch down and they go. The back seat itself, you have a trunk space that you can put in, and the back seat will fold down. There it is. Fold down nice and easy, which is great. And again, cloth seats on the inside. The steering wheel will turn and everything like that. All the doors open up. You got the squishy tires. That is a spare that can be used if you need it. You got the light detail, and just like the Jeep, so in this one, you will unlatch that, and then, you know, just be careful when you put it back up. Don't try to, you know, don't try to force it. That's all that matters there. You can bring the rear view mirrors up, but then all the internals where the battery's gonna go and everything is gonna be right in front. So you slide this a little forward and then lift it up. There you go. And then this one does have a wire, so be careful because there's a light up top that needs to be plugged in, so you don't want to be too hard with it. But this whole thing will just remove if you need it to. You could just easily slide it out and get full access. So I'm gonna slide that back in. My battery's already in there. Again, small lipo, but it's gonna give you plenty of time for a scaler like this. Again, this is like a trail truck. I wouldn't call it a crawler. You do have this too, more access into the rear view, and my hands are just a little big. But even you have the working motor in the back, which I think is also really, really cool.
That is cool.
Cool, right? You know, you're definitely gonna see the belt driving when the car is, you know, on the move. And then take a look underneath. This one, unlike the Willys, is more closed and, you know, hidden. All the internals are behind these screws. So they give you a screwdriver in this one. If you ever got to get in there to change anything, you know, it's going to be a little tedious, but well worth it, you know, if you want something that's really cool. And obviously, guys, do a Google search. I know there are a couple toy, you know, World War II scale toy figures where you can get a German figure, you can get, you know, an American figure, and really have some fun. They look great on the table, look great, you know, just on display, if you will, because that's what we're all nerds, right? That's what we all love to do. We love this type of stuff. So I'm gonna plug, I already got them plugged in. So let's go over, because we got some brush, we got some stuff around, so we're gonna go drive them around and check them out. All right, so we got the transmitter, guys. You know, very simple rear run, but there is a lot of functionality on it. You do have, you know, the ability to trim your steering, to trim your throttle, all the stuff you'd expect as a car driver. There's a bind button, and then you have a lot of switches which go through a few of the modes, and you can see they're very detailed in the manual. So when you get that, and then there's some switches on the side as well. The biggest one I've been using so far really is just the lights. There's, if you keep pushing this little button here, you'll see there's a couple different modes of the way the lights work. One will shut off the red lights, the turn lights, the brake lights. One will make them low vis, one will brighten up the headlights, things like that. But to get the car started, you're gonna obviously put your AA batteries in here, and then you're gonna turn it on, turn the transmitter on, and then there's a little button on the Kubelwagen. It's right behind the steering wheel, so you just put your thumb in there, you push it, you hear it click, and it'll bind up, and then you can see that we're moving. You can drive it, you know, forward, backward. Again, it's a scaler. It's not going to go too fast, but it's pretty cool. And when you turn, I want to show you the steering wheel. So as I said before, you can see the steering wheel turns with the turn. And now at the start, there are no lights on, but when I push this button right here, the lights come on. That's low visibility. Then you got higher vis. And then this will probably turn on, this will turn on the back red lights on this one. On the Jeep, this button will turn their red lights in the front. And then you do have a little spotlight here that's tough to see, that'll turn on as well. You'd be able to see that much better in bright. That's why we're in a sort of a shady spot. Hopefully that'll turn up on camera better. But when you're in the back, if I turn the wheel, the red lights are on, but like if I turn right, you can see you got the, you know, the right turn signal will come on, the left turn signal will come on. So just really cool scale detail that you wouldn't expect for a smaller scale vehicle like this, a 12 scale. These are the types of features you usually get with a larger car, like a 6 scale. But so if you're driving around, you know, you can imagine a figure inside, you know, rocking and rolling, nice and easy. You know, this is for guys who just love, you know, if you have fake terrain, if you're building models and stuff, you can't go wrong with a Kubelwagen. If you have other 12 scale type buildings, things like that, I mean, you know, just super fun, as I said. Just a great little thing on the desk. It would look so much better with a nice figure. But let me bring it into the light here, into the shade, so you can see the, you know, the lights will pop a little more. Make you turn and go. And then if I go into, there we go, that's the faster mode. So I was in the low throttle mode. That's what the switch on the right side does. Basically that switch lowers the drivetrain. So it's like going into first gear or second gear on your car. This would be a higher gear. So this is the gear that, you know, it'll go its quote unquote fastest. But again, they're not designed for speed. They're not designed for looks. And what you're paying for is the beauty of a out of the box World War II Jeep. That's just going to be really cool to play around with. Again, I don't know if it's going to, I wouldn't call it a crawler. I don't think it's crawling up too much. Like even here, just bringing it up grass or over sticks. You know, I'd rather not flip it and scratch it all up because I want to have it displayed on the set and have some fun with it Maybe my son will have some fun with it with some of his military toys, you know? Great model for like to introduce a kid to. I mean, they'd have a lot of fun with this, putting their figures in there. So while this is going, I'll shoot focus on that, and I'm gonna grab the Jeep. So now with the Willys, same idea. You got the same exact transmitter. You gotta open the hood on the Willys to turn this one on. So there's a little switch that's in here, a little white switch that you push, and you can see with this one, the lights will flash. You can see that it binds up really quickly, and then again, when you look at the front of the model, lights are off. When I push the button, I gotta see to make sure I'm telling the truth. You got your low vis, you got your high vis, and you can keep pushing it until they come off. There's 4 different modes that'll be there. So I'll do the high visibility one, and then when you drive it around, this one's a little quicker than the Kubelwagen for sure, and this one has the lower drive stage. So this one would probably crawl much better. So that's low throttle setting for crawling, and then I'm gonna flip the switch, and look at that.
Oh, it's boogieing.
You know, the Willys was a superior, you know, sorry Kubelwagen. Germans made some great planes, but I think the Willys was a more superior, you know, all-terrain vehicle to get troops around. And just, I always loved the Jeep. I had a Jeep in high school. I would love to have gotten a real Willys. I always loved seeing the old school ones. The whole idea, driving that around with your foot outside the door, I loved it. So the Willys, 100% my thing, but again, on the, you know, on your rear view lights, from the back you see the red, you got the brake lights. If I go in reverse, it's harder to, let me switch, see what happens there. Depends on the mode you're in. The lights, I'm still learning it as I'm here. But you got all the scale detail is just super nice. Let's try to ride this thing up something. So follow me, Alex. You know, getting over things again. It's not a true crawler by any stretch of the imagination at this scale. I believe there's a bigger one, a 6 version, that would infinitely do better for that. But again, you're not getting these because you're going to take it crawling and go on courses and do all that stuff. But the fact that you can get over anything with a model this small is pretty cool. And I definitely enjoy the Willys just because when I want to flip it to a faster gear, you've got a lot of speed. Reverse it, come down forward, and that just looks really cool. And it'll look great with, you know, with that figure in there. It's the only thing that's missing. It looks awkward when there's no figure in, and again, I just don't have one. Just all around super cool, guys. So whether you get the Willys or the Kubelwagen, I kind of think you need to get both if you're gonna jump in on one, just because they go really good together. They add to any World War II fan, you know, just if you're into toys like this, you could do a lot worse than the scale on the Rock Hobby crawler. So check out the links below, guys. The links to both vehicles are there, available right now at Motion RC. And as always, guys, appreciate every one of you for watching any videos we make. Stay tuned for the next one because it's coming probably in a day or two, as they always do. And as always, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time at Motion RC. Get your crawl on.